Welcome back, warriors and supporters, to CWF Presents CRPS/RSD is Real, International Edition. I am pleased today to introduce to you our lovely resource, Angie. She's located in Australia. She has been a warrior for 28 years, and she has the biggest heart of wanting to give back to the CRPS community. Without any further ado, here is Etha with episode 2 of our International Edition.
Morning from Treviso, Italy. It's Etha, the VP of International Relations for the CRPS Warriors Foundation. Welcome to our second international podcast. So, I would love to start this podcast by a quote of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, a Swiss-American psychiatrist, who said, "The most beautiful people we have known are those who have known defeat, known suffering, known struggle, known loss, and have found their way out of those depths." So, today's guest is a shining example, or should I say, one of the CRPS warriors who has transformed her pain into success and committed herself to helping warriors, not just in her own country, but on an international level. Please join me in welcoming the wonderful Angie Poller. Angie, thank you so much
Hi,
for joining us today.
thank you for inviting me.
My listeners and I are excited to learn more about you and how you joined our CRPS Warriors Foundation.
My journey to finding you actually happened through another support group. A friend on there suggested that I look into you and see what you're doing, and I did. That was many, many years ago. And I've been following your progress and what you're doing in the space of awareness and raising funds for research. And when I decided to turn my product into a business, I knew that I wanted to send every cent I had made to you to continue the good work that you're doing.
Thank you. That's amazing to hear. From what I know, I think you're a CRPS warrior, right?
Yeah, I'm still fighting. I'm 28 years this year.
Wow. Can you please tell us more about it? About your journey with the CRPS?
Mine happened through a workplace injury. I was working in a factory in a production line, so it was really fast work. And one day they took me off and put me in the dispatch area, and for 12 hours, I had to lift boxes from the floor up above my head. And I found out this week, going through all my medical records, trying to find like a timeline in case that's what you needed for the podcast. I found out that I'd lacerated my brachial plexus. And I didn't know what that was. I always thought the brachial plexus was like a group of muscles or something like that. But it's the main nerve in the side of the neck. And so I'd torn that. But because it was a workplace injury, I was forced onto work compensation. And the process to get you diagnosed is a very long process. So, and it was 8 months before they sent me for an MRI, which was the time they saw the damage in my neck. But prior to that, they had me doing physiotherapy for 8 months and still working in that time. And the sort of physiotherapy they put me through was horrendous without knowing that I had torn this nerve in my neck. They didn't know what they were doing. And at one point, I had a bruising method used on me. I had one physiotherapist used a seatbelt from a car under the back of my neck while I was laying down. And she would put it around her waist and lean back with all her weight, trying to stretch out my neck because they were thinking it was muscular or something like that. So by the time I was diagnosed CRPS 13 months down the track, the damage was so severe that it was untreatable. So that's my journey into CRPS.
Wow. That's, I know, it's very difficult, but as I told you before, I'm very proud of you because you're such a strong lady who turned her pain into success. So I know the listeners are asking about the success here, wondering to know maybe So can you tell us about what led you, okay, to creating this brand? And can you tell us about more about Remedy?
What led me to creating the brand is one of my warrior friends. She passed away about 6 years ago. But it was the
I'm
same person
sorry.
who put me onto you because she was a entrepreneur herself, and we became great friends over the years. And I told her about my product, and she was the one who was trying to do what I'm doing now, but she didn't get the opportunity to do it. So all I wanted to do was, the only reason I'm making a business out of it instead of just giving the product away is because I want my pain to mean something. And I think it's such a simple product and it works and it can help people. And if I can make it big enough, then I can give enough to research, then maybe I can make a difference, you know? If you guys get enough money, maybe we can find a good treatment or an actual cure, and it would give people real hope, because I don't want to be rich. I don't need a big house or 3 cars, or I've never needed that. I want to make a difference, and I've created something which is good, and it's going to help people in 2 different ways, which is why it's a business now, because I don't enjoy business at all.
Oh,
I don't.
you don't. You don't.
I don't.
Wow.
I don't understand it. It's so confusing. It's ever evolving. And, I lay in bed until about 2 or 3 in the morning fighting the pain, because the pain intensifies when you lay down at night. So I don't sleep more than 3 or 4 hours a night. And my brain just can't cope with everything that goes along with a business. And it's been really hard, that trying to turn it into something.
I know it's really difficult, but I'm now a CRPS warrior, but I had my own story with a rare cancer, so I understand your pain. I know it's difficult, but as I told you, you're an example. You're neither.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you are.
I
You
I
are.
think because I didn't give up, I've found good people who are kind of filling the gaps of my knowledge, and they're the ones that are helping me along the way. So I'm gonna make it. It's just, yeah, it's I enjoy making my product and I enjoy what it gives to people, but I don't enjoy the business side of it.
Sometimes you have to do what you have to do.
It's all part of it, yeah.
Yeah, and you're actually doing great job. Can you please tell us more about your product?
Oh, okay. My product came around because my last dealings with the hospital, the neurosurgeons, I was going to enter a pain clinic, because at that stage I didn't know much about CRPS and I still thought it was treatable. They wanted me to go on gabapentin, and when I refused, they said they wouldn't treat me anymore. So I was on my own.
Oh,
And the only thing that helped my pain, apart, because I wasn't going down the medication route, was direct heat. So I went out and bought all the wheat packs and everything I could afford, being on a limited budget, and they were just no good. They just weren't good. And being told to sit and rest until the pain eases, with CRPS, it doesn't ease. So you need something that you can wear while you're moving around and carrying on with your day. So initially I decided to fix the weight of the products that were out there. So I started to look at the filling, the grains that were used, and I started to research different types of grains and their benefit to each other. And that's how I landed on my recipe. And the recipe that I've got now allows me to make them lightweight, which makes them able to be carried around. And they get hot. They get really hot. And it's a deep penetrating sort of heat. So I strap mine on in the morning and leave it on for an hour, and then I'm good for a few hours because I'm warm and I stay warm. So I don't know if it was by accident or luck or whatever, but this recipe that I've stumbled upon is the reason why I've created the designs, and I'm able to help people with something that lasts for a long time and it works, and they're not going to be fidgeting with it, or it's not going to fall off, it's not going to be uncomfortable or burn them, or it's just simple to use.
It's amazing. And from what I know, I think they're all handmade, right?
Yeah, yes.
In my opinion, okay, I love handmade things, so I think that's what makes it also very unique. So you're really doing great. That's amazing. Do you sell just in Australia or you go also like overseas?
I'm just in Australia at the moment. I would love to go overseas, but I'm not big enough yet.
Mhm.
I'm still buying my materials retail. I'm still surviving on 1 or 2 sales a week, so I'm just not big enough yet. I'm hoping after September I will be able to look into selling overseas.
I see. Have you ever had like some requests like from warriors not in Australia?
From orders, not in Australia.
Yeah.
From you, I have, and from people in the support groups, definitely. Yeah, I've got friends like you who have been waiting for years. And I did try. I walked into the post office and they said no.
And do you think there'll be any like solution for that? Because from what I know, people are really waiting for that.
There has to be a solution. Yeah. From the people I've spoken to, there is a solution, and I will make that a priority, because I didn't realize the want out there was as high as it was, and now I do know. I'll make it a priority.
That's amazing. I think that's a really good news for the warriors around the world. You hear? He said that she make it a priority, okay? So that's amazing. Did you have any feedback like from the warriors who used your product?
Yeah, the people who have my product, they've bought multiple. They've bought more for their friends and family, and I've got a friend who's got arthritis pretty much all over her body, and I've made her any design she wants. She asked for something for her hand, so I made her a glove, and I made one for her foot, and yeah, the feedback has been brilliant.
So you have just said something very important. You said that you have made her any design she wants.
I'll have a go. Yeah, I'll definitely have a go.
So maybe let's say that one of the warriors has just checked your website, okay, and they don't find the design they want, so they can ask for what they want.
Yeah, there's a comment section, or they can email me. Definitely, I've had people measure their feet and send me photos and of exactly where they want it. And yeah, the glove, I haven't put it on the website because it's very intricate to make. It takes 8 layers of fabric. So it
Mhm.
was just a one-off. And I don't put the feet and the ankle ones on there because they're the ones that I really need for myself. But the ones that I make, to me, they're not comfortable, so I won't put them on the website. It was just a one-off for this lady. Until I can get the design right, I won't try and release it.
Actually, now I'm really curious to know something because I really love your idea. And when I went through your website, I was really amazed by the work you're doing.
Thank you.
So, and I think that there are other people who are not CRPS warriors who might be, kind of curious to know whether this product is just for CRPS warriors or also non-CRPS.
No, it's for the general public. I make a design called the Not Water Bottle, which you
Mm-hmm.
can imagine what it is. It's the only one that I make without straps on it. And because you can keep them in the freezer in the little packets they come in, you keep it in the freezer. And my children take them to bed on a hot night. My son came off his skateboard when he was little, and he used that instead of an ice pack, because ice packs are really hard and stiff and kids don't like them. But cold, my heat packs are like gentle and they're nice. And my main customers at the moment have been people with endometriosis, Crohn's disease. I have a friend with 2 daughters with Crohn's disease, and they take theirs to school and wear the back one around the front because they've got the little side tabs. They can make it adjustable. So no, definitely not. Migraines, sunburn. It's good cold for sunburn. I use them for me because I can just wear it. I can put it underneath clothes. No one even knows I've got it on. So yeah, no, definitely not just for warriors.
Okay, so Angie, I've got actually a little surprise for you because one of your let's say clients or people who use your product is a friend of mine.
Okay.
So yeah. So I know and I can guarantee the quality. That's why I kept saying that I'm really proud of you. And actually, my friend told me that who's not a CRPS warrior, and he took actually two pieces of your product, and one he used it for himself, and one he gave it to one of his friends who is a CRPS warrior, and both of them are very happy. And actually, that's what encouraged me to recommend that to one of the warriors who I know in the Middle East. And he can't wait
Oh, great.
to have it. So that's why I say it's a good stay for you.
Maybe if you could put that in an email, just the places where people are wanting them. I could use that in my pitch because there's going to be international people there, and maybe they can help me if they can know that what I'm saying is true. That would help a lot for me to get the ball rolling, I think, if you wouldn't
Um,
mind.
of course, as you said in the beginning, that you're trying to make a difference, and that's what we're all trying to do. So whatever will help the warriors, I'll do it with great pleasure.
Thank you.
Because
I think it would be great help.
and I really hope it helps because, as I told you, there are a lot of people waiting for it. I didn't have the opportunity to use your product and try it. However, my friend, who I trust him very much, he told me about it. And also his friends, who is a CRPS warrior, and both of them are in Australia, are very happy.
That's really so nice to hear. I just don't hear it. It's so good.
Thank you so much. We can't wait for other warriors, okay, to try it because, you know, with this disease, we need to do our best.
Yeah, and it's something that so many people can afford because it's not out of reach that we could possibly make a real difference. Like I said, I don't want to be rich. I want to make a difference, and I think it could be great if I can just break through this because the market is tainted. You tell people that you make heat packs and they turn away. They're almost angry with me because there's
Oh,
so much bad product out there. So what I'm trying to do when I go to Sydney is to find a person who can market it to show people they're different so that I can sell them, because at the moment people they don't know that they're different, but they are.
they are actually. Since we talked about the different size and shapes that you have, okay, I think the listeners would love to know more about, like, to have an idea about the price. Are all the same?
They range from $40 to $50 depending on the design. And that's just purely to keep my head above water. I literally go and buy fabric for each order that comes in at the moment. I'm going as I can, but I think compared to what's on the market, I think the price is fair. And they last. You're not going to need a new one in 3 months. Like I said, I've been using one every single day for almost 4 years. It doesn't look so good, but it still works exactly the same. So it's not something that you're going to have to buy over and over again. And when I do get bigger, I would love to incorporate into my website like a giveaway where people
Mm-hmm.
could put their email address down. And if they can't afford to buy one, once a month, I could just give one away at random. Or there could be a part there where if you can afford to, you could buy two and donate one to someone, which would be nice. And that's what I'd like to do with the website a little bit later on.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, actually, yesterday when I was checking your website, I read something very important. It's about shipping in Australia.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us more about it? I don't want to
Uh,
mention the information. I want it to come from you.
oh no, we don't do shipping in Australia. If you want it, I'll get it to you. Free shipping, all the time, every day. That's the way it should be. If you see, I always think if you see a product, and especially when I'm asking people to take a leap of faith with me, with something
Mhm.
in the back of their mind they think is going to be the same as everything else, I think the least I can do is give free shipping. And at the moment, while I have stock left, it's buy one, get one free because of the Mecca collaboration. You get a pretty pink one as well.
Oh,
And just in case,
okay.
I've got about 20 left. If I did get some orders, you would receive one until I run out.
Okay, I see. I'm happy that at least the warriors in Australia, okay, are very lucky to use your product. So I would love them to know as much as they can about your product because at the end, it's a natural thing. It's something that really helps. And yeah, they need it. And we're trying to make a difference, as you said.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the only thing that's helped me, and it does help people, not just with CRPS. So thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, with pleasure. Thank you for coming. Angie, after 28 years of dealing with CRPS, I think you have got enough experience to help some warriors who have been just diagnosed with CRPS. And I know someone who still can't accept that, who still can't accept that he has CRPS because for him, it's like the end, which I believe is not. I
No,
believe that, yeah.
no,
So,
not
what
the
can you
end.
tell them?
I'd probably first tell you that being diagnosed with this is that it does go through the 5 stages of grief, like a loss, because you've lost the person that you were and the person that you could be, or the person you thought you could be. So your friend being in denial is perfectly normal. I would say to him what the doctor who diagnosed me with said to me. His wife suffers with CRPS. So he said to me on my last visit is use it or lose it. And as much as the pain hurts, as much as you can do it with tears in your eyes, the minute you stiffen or immobilize or give into it, it doesn't help. I'm not saying it's the worst thing you can do. And there are definitely times when I can't walk. There are times when my back cripples me. But as much as you can do things like heat to force yourself to keep moving, you have to do that. I do self-hypnosis. I was taught self-hypnosis by a 80-year-old hypnotherapist who I was going to for pain management because I didn't know what else to do. And at one point he asked me if I wanted to be taught self-hypnosis. So I do that. I can't always put myself into trance because sometimes, I mean, a lot of the time I can't stay still, but there are techniques that has got me through. But just, yeah, my advice would be just use it as much as you can. Whatever you need to do to keep moving is my advice to people. I dread going to bed, but during the day, that's my advice.
You are a hero. You have to know that. You are
It's
a
not,
hero.
it's not without hope though. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to give hope, until the day that I can't, I'll keep trying to do it. And I believe it's got to be out there. It's just they're not looking hard enough. I'm going to try and get the Sydney Opera House lit up orange this year. If I meet enough important people, maybe I can make that happen for us. Just we got to keep trying. Positive energy, I find, heals and it helps to fight pain if you've got positive energy coming in. But yeah, I'm not okay by all means. I have things that get me through.
Your story actually just made me feel so proud and so lucky to join this foundation because after my treatments, the doctor told me that I might have a heart toxicity. Literally, this is what he said. And I was so down. And I was just waiting for death, to be honest.
Yeah,
And then when I saw the foundation, I was like, okay, one day we will all die. One day we will all pass away. So let's make a difference.
exactly.
So actually, I think it's this moment where I have to thank Deborah, our CEO, for creating this foundation.
Yeah,
Really. And yeah, you're a CRPS warrior. I'm not, but you're teaching me really how to stay positive.
Well, you're a warrior too, you know. We're all there's pain involved. They say CRPS is likened to stage 4 cancer pain. So, you know, it's just warrior. We're all the same.
Yeah, you're amazing, really. As I told you, I'm, uh, I'm not a CRPS warrior, but as you said, maybe I'm a warrior on my way. Okay, but you actually has just given me a lot of hope.
Good.
So thank you. They said, okay, in such difficult moments, the family role is very important, right? And people around you, not just family, because sometimes your friends' influence can be very strong or as strong as your family. So, to what extent do you agree?
1,000%. My family have never been really nice to me, and they never, to this day, they haven't Googled CRPS. They don't understand it. They don't want to. So I've been on my own through this. In the early stages, when my children were 3 and 5, I escaped domestic violence after 18 years being with the children's father. So I've been alone a lot for this journey by myself. And if it wasn't for the support groups, because I don't go out, we be little children, you don't go out and have friends. If it wasn't for my friends online, I don't know who I would be today. You know, friends like Jennifer, who's passed, and most of my friends are in America. And then I came across Global Sisters, who are now like my true family. They're the people who are organizing Sydney. If it wasn't for the women in my life who, yeah, I wouldn't be me today, I don't think, because you guys are everything.
It's really amazing to feel that you're making a difference, and I'm very proud of you. I have said I'm very proud of you many times, guys, but believe me, when you're talking to this wonderful woman, you can't stop being proud of her.
I'm not going to give up until I get as far as I can. I'm not there yet.
You're doing great job. So, from what you said, do I understand that you are really advising warriors to join the support groups?
Absolutely. You know, they are the people who are there at 2 o'clock in the morning, especially having most of them in America. You know, it makes it easier, but they're the ones where you don't have words for the pain. When there's 6 or 7 layers of pain and you've got tears, you've got no energy to cry. They are the people who can send you stupid memes of cats to make you laugh, and you know what I mean. They one more day, just hang on one more day, and then in turn you learn how to be that for them, and then the art of giving makes you feel stronger. And if it's, yeah, you've got to join a support group. Not all of them, they're not all the same. I'm only in 2, I think. I dropped out of a lot because they're just not weren't for me. You just got to find the right one with your people, and then you'll be fine, because yeah, they're not all the same.
Well, if you haven't tried our support groups yet, so I advise you to do.
This is the benchmark.
Talking about the support groups, when I attended one of our support groups, one of the warriors who is in the States asked me a question. And I don't know if you agree with me on this or not. He said to me, since you're not a CRPS warrior, what's brought you to this community? So I was like, you don't have to be a CRPS warrior to give love. As a non CRPS warrior, that's my message to all the families. You don't have to have CRPS to feel their pains. So, love is very important. As you said, 1000%.
Yeah, and we if it was run by just CRPS people, we don't have the energy for it. We need healthy people to, you know, to raise, to be out there when we're too ill to do it. So
It's very important to have the support
it is, but
from.
I think not having my family and having my partner abusing me at the time, I think there is a lot to be said to finding that sense of self and finding security alone. There's a lot to be said for that. I mean, support groups are wonderful, but at some point when you're there by yourself, you have to be able to be strong enough, I think. That's just my opinion. Maybe, I don't know, that's just my opinion.
How was your first experience with support groups?
It was busy. It was a lot of meeting new people, and everything is always on the surface. There's a lot when you go into the support groups. There's normally a lot of posts and information, and I just generally have a read through and see what sort of things they discuss. But yeah, generally it's just meeting people and seeing where you are, and you know, a lot of the times it's just open arms. How are you today? You know, but genuinely, how are you? And you can actually answer honestly. You can't answer that question honestly most of the time.
So how are you today?
Yeah. If you would ask me, I'd say I'm fine. Fine, thanks. I'm good.
Okay, Angie. I think of the listeners, when they'll be listening to you, they will be curious to know, how do you stay positive and hopeful?
I stay positive most of the time because of the kids. They don't deserve to have someone walking around constantly complaining. I mean, they're 15 and 17 now, so they're getting older, but when they were little, they just didn't deserve that. So it's a conscious thing. You have to just segregate yourself and give yourself time in the shower or late at night to lick your wounds, you know. I stay helpful because there's got to be some purpose behind it, you know. There's got to be some purpose that I wasn't given cancer or something which took me out in a year. There's got to be a reason why I was given this particular disease at this time. And I don't know if it is so that I can make change, so that I can help you guys, and so that we can all find a cure for us. But I've got to find a purpose, and that's why I stay helpful. There's an old saying, it goes, we can't just sit and look at our wounds forever. And I think that's important.
Oh, so that's here. I think you agree with the quote that says, "Turn your pain into wisdom," and I think you've done that.
It's a conscious thing. You have to. It's not easy, and it's not every day, and it's not all day. You know, I break down every day, but you got to pick yourself back up.
I think the best thing I have done today is it's starting my day with you, having all this, positive energy, having all this hope. Since we have arrived to the end of today's episode, I would like to know if you have something to say to all warriors around the world.
I'd like to say sorry, and
Sorry.
I hear you, I feel you, and I'm trying my best. It's started to spread to my eyes the last 6 months, so I'll keep going as quickly as I can, and hopefully we can find a cure, find a treatment, because hope is what gives us strength, and we need to be strong to get through this. It's a beast. It's an awful disease, and there has to be a cure. So thank you for your time.
There is another quote that says, "People with big hearts see the world through their hearts, not their eyes."
Yeah.
So someone with such a heart, maybe later the listeners will be just listening to you. However, seeing you saying that means a lot. And how honest and genuine you are makes me feel that there's still a lot of hope in this world, a lot of things to do. And if someone asks me about what I learned from Angie Poller, then I say is to never give up. Never give up. What would you like to say to people who are still thinking maybe to join our foundation, whether as volunteers or as professional resources?
Just join. The CRPS Warriors Foundation is only trying to do good.
Angie, we can't thank you enough for taking the time to speak with us and tell us your incredible journey. And thank you so much for your kind word and your dedication to the foundation and to Warriors as a whole. We are so grateful to have connected and have our paths intersect. CRPS has brought us together. We can't thank you enough for sharing your handcrafted product that you have created and dedicated yourself to continue to create just for Warriors. Angie's product is currently available locally in Australia. There is no cost for shipping. If you would like to reach out to Angie, her contact information is in the description of this video, and you can always find her on our website, crpswarriorsfoundation.org. To stay in the loop, you can follow us on social media, which carries all of our big announcements and our schedules for our podcast and our support group. Our next support group is on July 31st. You can sign up for that via the link in the description of this episode. If you would like to support the podcast and the foundation, please text CWF podcast to 53555. And we will see you back next month on the 25th for the third episode of our international edition.